There's a Washington Post article from June 18, 1991, about a period where it's purported that you and a couple of others went on a, quote, 18-hour rampage, end quote, that allegedly stemmed from a brother of one of your guys getting crossed and killed in the process of doing a deal. According to the article, quote, it was all over in seconds, and Leon Bubbles Lipford lay dead, face down in a puddle of blood, shot 8 times. He had dealt crack where he was killed on Clay Terrace, Northeast, a notorious open-air drug market, and officials say he was murdered because he owed Reginald Douglas Jr. $4,500 for cocaine. The article goes on to say, quote, that murder in August 1989 was only one moment in a year-long reign of terror that police say was caused by New York Reggie and Anthony D. Gardner, now on trial in D.C. Superior Court in Lipford slaying. It's a litany of crime ranging from a drive-by shooting and various kidnappings to a shootout outside a funeral home. Douglas, 20, is charged with armed kidnapping and first-degree murder in the 1990 killing of 20-year-old Anthony Eugene Morrissey, as his parents tried to meet a $20,000 ransom demand. Douglas also is charged with armed kidnapping and other counts stemming from a separate kidnapping in December 1989, in which he allegedly tried to flee after spotting police at the site of the ransom drop and ran the victim's car into and over a police car, flipping the victim's car 5 times, end quote. According to witnesses in June 1989, you fronted Bubbles a half a key, a coat. He cooked some of it and left the rest in a friend's car that he was using. But then the friend drove off without knowing the work was in the trunk, and apparently he ran into one of those random checkpoints, those plainclothes cops that used to wear those black bandanas with the skulls on them, that used to just seemingly randomly set up all over the city. I got caught in a couple of those. And he got jammed with the rest of the work. According to the article, a witness testified that Bubbles had paid you $5,500, but when you couldn't get any more blow, you told Bubbles that he had to knock off the $4,500 balance with work he was getting from other people. The article details that just before midnight on August 1st, 1989, a witness testified that she saw Gardner, who was once on the DC's police most wanted list, suspected in several of the homicides, walked past Bubbles and shot him in the back of the head. Meanwhile, Bubbles' friend was waiting for him in a van that was parked on the block. That friend later testified that he heard repeated gunshots at the same time that he saw you and someone else standing over Bubbles. The team you ran with in D.C. was arguably the most powerful team in the town at the time. It was headed by Michael Frey Salters, a very respected brother whose name I remember hearing ringing bells when I was moving around out there in 1986. According to reports, his nephew, Darrell Poochie Salters, was charged, and along with you, in the both of the kidnappings. How did you, a kid from Harlem, get so tied in with a heavy DC-based team when they were reputed to hate New York guys?
Here's the thing about that, right? I've told numerous people this. It's not actually true that they hate New York guys.
Fact.
All right? That is a fact. I'm telling you that. Because there's so many of us that are welcomed. But it's all about how you enter another state, right? It's almost the same way like when you enter someone's home. If you come in there wrong, you're going to get either put back out or
you ain't leaving.
Or you ain't leaving. Exactly. Not on your feet. And, D.C. was one of those states. And it's probably the same thing in Philly, Detroit, Chicago, everywhere.
Yes.
It's the same way everywhere. Think about this. You can't come to New York and just do what you want. You can't go somewhere else and think you're going to do what you want. You can't take somebody's home. All right? So I never came into D.C. with that intention. I met Poochie at a young age. I met him before I even went to D.C. because my stepdad was really like this with Frey. Frey was like his brother. And Frey would bring him with him when he would come to New York to see my stepfather, Reggie. And, me and Poochie would run around. So when I got older, I'm running around the streets anyway. I'm getting in trouble. I'm getting in serious trouble. My stepdad said, listen, I could be able to watch over you, man. I could watch you. You're going to do it anyway. You're doing it when you're not around me. I'm hearing all about you, all on Amsterdam, all on the Hill. You everywhere. You're starting to get in real serious trouble. So I'm going to take you with me. And he took me down to D.C. with him. And he told this is the beautiful part about it. I'm home today because one of the letters that was written for me was by him. And he told the judge, I apologize for taking Reggie to Washington, D.C. at a time when it was the murder capital. I dropped the ball. But when he took me there, he didn't just throw me in the streets. He took me, he told me, here, Frey, this is my son. And I lived with Frey in Germantown in a big, mansion. And I stayed there with him every day. I didn't sell no drugs. I didn't cut no drugs. I didn't do nothing. I rode around with him every day in different cars. He took me clothes shopping. Every day he bought me an outfit. Every day he gave me money.
He loved to shop.
And he loved shopping.
Oh, he loved that.
And he
Frey
took
was
me,
a
he
fly
did it
mo-
every day.
Flyers.
And,
I
and
to see him in triples.
yeah.
did all that back in the
Let me
day.
tell you something. Frey for real, it's no stories that anybody could tell.
That was his only thing he liked. It.
Yeah.
He didn't get high for nothing.
Yeah,
he didn't drink.
Yeah.
But he
And
loved shopping.
later on in life, he didn't do none of that. But early, he got high.
He got high.
Yeah, he got out of that. But Frey was, trust me, he was so honorable, it was profound. He's the reason why me and most of my friends that were here, that lost their lives, have the etiquette that we have. He took us with him to grave sites. He walked me and Poochie to grave sites and said, we putting these flowers over here. He sat us in front of prisons when he went on visits to see people. He took us with him when he went to his man's houses and said, pay for these lawyers. Here, you need money to go visit them in jail? Go see him. So we was taking that in. We was sucking that in. So all of my friends, all of my immediate friends, and people that's watching this show, they know who it is. They know who my friends are. None of us ever cracked. We never thought about it. It wasn't even a thought to tell on one another because we love each other too much and we come from good stock. We're cut from that cloth. And we learned it growing up. It's just not what you do. And all of them were your homie. When I did my 30 years, my mother will tell you this. Up until they couldn't do it no more, to their deaths, till they went to prison, they came to see me, man. Listen, I have a friend named Damo, all right? Damo's in prison right now doing 30 years. I called Damo. I wrote him a letter on a Monday. Now, he's all the way in D.C. I wrote him a letter on a Monday and said, I need to see you. I am in Clinton. I'm in Dannemora, man. I'm almost at the Canada border. I said, I need to see you, man. I didn't put a date on it. When the weekend came, he got the letter. He called my mother and Reggie. He said, where is he? And I'm going to him. Take me to Reggie, man. He was there as soon as the envelope dropped in his mailbox, man. And they did that until they couldn't no more. D.C. is like a second home to me. And the guys from that city were extremely good to me. And they're real good dudes. And I have nothing but the utmost respect for them. They are worthy of honor. That's a fact. And welcome home to all the men that's home now. All of them. No matter what the issue was back then. I'm happy you here now, man. I'm happy you here now.